3000.
What is doing? My name's Maloney. This is the 3000 podcast. I'm joined today by an MC and an old mate, Dunn D, all the way from the Apple Isle. Thanks for coming, man.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, bro. It's been a minute, man. I
been
think
a
we
while.
said what about 11 years, 12 years, something like that. Like
It was probably about 2013, 2012 or something.
something like
I was
that.
down
So
in
I guess
Hobart,
for people who don't know, we met. You were DJing for Bam Bam
For Joel, yes.
back in the day, many years ago. I was a lot younger and not quite as grey.
You did both supports at Launceston and at Hobart.
Yeah, and it was a random, one of those tours back in the day. Not many people there, like a few people coming to the show. So I remember we all kind of really bonded together on it, man. It ended up being a great weekend, bro. But,
I'm trying to get Jolski on the show, and
Yep.
he's touring the world with Rule and all these other, doing his
right, man.
photography thing. He's a busy boy, man.
Hell yeah. I haven't seen him long time, brother.
Yeah,
long
I think
time. But
Michelle schooled him on the photography stuff, and he started doing
Yep.
the cinematography. Yeah, so he's killing it, man.
unreal, bro.
you
Unreal.
go.
But yeah, so this is a pleasant change because I remember that was we were young, just drinking the whole time. I remember we stayed in the above the place we were playing in Launceston, bro, and you guys stayed in the hotel. I was
The
there with,
Manhattan or the New York or something?
something like that, bro. But they were like 3 rooms upstairs. We were like, sweet, man. I was with my daughter's mum at the time, and I remember we got up to our room. There was like blood on the sheets and shit. And she was like, nah. We spent like a couple $100 and went up to some fucking motel up the road. And you guys were stuck there. And like the next day, we're like, you guys had to stay there. And you're like, dude, fucking.
Yeah. The place in Hobart was where we played the next night,
Yeah.
or the night after in Hobart. That was people like, man, I can't believe you're playing at that joint. Like that place used to be the worst, but it was
Was it Republic or
Nah, it
the
was
Homestead,
the
maybe?
Homestead.
Yeah, so that used to be, which was just, so the Republic, which is just up the road, was the place that my old man started that I grew up in, which used to be a notoriously rough pub. It used to be the Empire, which my dad got it for a cheap price because it was, before my dad had it was running girls upstairs, man.
Oh, wow.
The local bike club was like, nah, you're not doing that. They kept doing it. So they came through and they shot the whole place up, shot out the jukebox and shit.
What was this in the 80s or something?
This was the 90s, bro. This was the mid-fucking 90s, man. So no one wanted to touch it for a few years because it had this fucking connotation of bikies and fucking prozzies, man.
Yeah.
My dad saw an opportunity and it turned it into, a really fucking great stand-up venue. But yeah, just down the road, they kind of tried to do the same thing. But yeah, it used to be the Sir William Don, which was like a notorious punch-on pub. I remember when I was a teenager, my mate Ben's here, but you'd stay the fuck away from the Sir William. You remember the Don, bro? Like that was a sure way to get in a fucking punch-on. Like and like old school bogans wearing a flanny with the mullet and shit. You know what I mean? Before Eshays, bro. But yeah, it's a different time, brother.
But you grew up basically in pubs.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So dad took that over when I was. See, my old man's been a bit of a jack of all trades over the years, but I think he started that when I was in grade 6. I think he opened that one, and he had that for 18 years. So
That's a stint.
yeah, man. Yeah, and we went from and it's a different time, bro. Like I tell people about. I'd be like 14 in my school uniform, like having having a drink with my dad in the pub, and but it was a time, bro. It was a time, and then I was in there from about 15 working, like in the kitchen and then in the bar, and grew up a bit more. I lived there in the manager's flat upstairs for a while, which was like party central, dude. Like, I'd go out to town with my fucking friends and I had the keys to a pub, bro. Like, and I'd take 20 people back to my room upstairs and be like, oh, I'm going down the cool room, grab a couple of slabs, and yeah.
I can see how that plays out.
And how things change, bro. You know
For
what I mean? I've just done my first sober show ever over the weekend.
Ever?
Well, I'm saying this, man. I did some sober shows when my daughter was born, bro, but it was like go home, drive home, and then I'd get home, have a drink, smoke some chuff and stuff like that. Whereas it's like I'm raw dogging reality at the moment, bro. So it's
And what brought that on?
I think it just happens, bro. I haven't been going that hard lately, but I toured last year, and I definitely wasn't. I wasn't really partying till after the shows. I've been pretty good at that for a while.
And that's changed because you used to just be
bro. I was
open slather.
yeah, like I grew up in this pub, and this was my life for so long. And even as an adult, after I had my daughter, like, no, it's not regular, but I'd still have my moments of like, chasing that dream of, trying to chase 2007 in my 30s, bro. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I had a mate's 40th back in about, I think it was maybe start of May. I had a really, really big night for that one, and I just got to the end of that, and I was like, I feel terrible, bro. I feel terrible. And it was that weekend that I got, I've been heavy fucking weed smoker my entire fucking life since I was, 13, 14, bro. That I had a session like after this weekend, and it just killed me. And I was like, I didn't actually enjoy this at all. So like, why am I
You're just going through the motions because it's what you do.
Exactly, man. So I started with the chuff, and then I got a week off the chuff, and then again I've been smoking darts since I was 15, like pack a day kind of smoker. About a week after getting off the chuff, had a durry, coughed my guts up. I'm like, this is fucking horrible, bro. So stop with the durries as well. I was off the piss for like 2 months. I had another mate's 40th maybe a month ago. Had some drinks, man, and I'm getting too old for this shit, brother. I'm 39, I'm 40 next year, bro. Like, I've been very healthy lately, going to the gym, eating healthy, and like, I'm sitting there on Sunday, like, fucking eating KFC, like, fucking woe is me kind of thing.
Because it's not just the booze, it's everything that goes with it.
Yeah,
mentally,
man.
And also like the shit that you put in your body afterwards to feel better. And
yeah, man. Yeah, and I think it's also when you're doing it so frequently, you don't realise. You know what I mean? When you're full partying, you don't have those moments of clarity, to have your baseline of like what feeling normal is. You're just kind of feeling a bit fucked all the time. Whereas you get to those moments when, this is what I felt like a week ago, and now I feel like this, man, fuck me, Dad. This is horrible, bro. Like, and I think also knowing that I had the tour coming up as well, like even though I don't tour, I don't do tour life anymore because I've got my daughter, so it's probably a show, maybe sometimes every 2 weeks, but usually about once a month. But I'm like, if I'm continuing to do this as I go on tour for the next, 3 to 6 months or whatever, I'm like, it's not sustainable, man, because I've got to come back to reality. I've got, I'm a support worker. I've got my own business doing that. I've got my daughter. Like, I can't keep doing this, bro. So it wasn't necessarily like a full conscious decision. It just kind of happened, and I've loved this weekend, man. Like, I went out yesterday, the day after my show, went into town in the morning, went to Vic Market, did some shopping for my daughter, went to the footy last night with my uncle. It's just it's a brand new thing for me, man. My whole life of, going around the country, whether it was battling or gigs or whatever, it's Saturday or Sunday after the show, I'm a fucking write-off, bro. I don't do anything. Like, there's no, I've got family all around Australia. Like, I can't catch up with them because I'm a fucking write-off. I don't want to just be like, whoa, when I'm catching up with family I haven't seen in 10 years. Whereas like, now I'm getting the chance to do it. And, anyone who knows me from back in the day is just like, what? You're, and it's like, I'm not trying to be like preachy, like, oh, I'm full going. So who knows, man? I don't know if it's indefinite or not, but for the moment, it's working, and I'm very much enjoying it, bro. So
for sure.
Yeah.
And you don't know where you're going to be at the end, but is the dream maybe, or to maybe have a few beers here and there. And then,
man. Yeah. Like, I mean, I know that I've got, I just had I had my 39th birthday a couple of months ago. Didn't have a drink, didn't have anything, bro.
Oh, wow. And that would have been the first birthday in a while.
I went out for dinner with my daughter, bro. And it was beautiful. It was such a nice change where every birthday I've had for years, man, it's kick-ons at my house, and it's 7 a.m. the next day. And it's like, so again, it's such a new thing, but I know, I've got my 40th coming up next year, and I'll definitely be able to have a few drinks and do my thing for my 40th. But I think that it's something that, I need enough time in between it to actually appreciate it as well. Because when you're doing it once every 2 weeks or whatever, it just it's Groundhog's Day, man. You know?
Yeah, it's like, it's similar to like people that swear every second word. When you say fuck all the time, it doesn't have the impact.
Yeah.
So if you drink every day, but if you drink every day, then you don't really feel oh, let's have a celebration for this. You know what I mean?
Exactly, bro. Exactly. Yeah. And it gets it, when you've been doing it for so long, man, it's like I've had my time in the sun, man. There's like, I'm not really missing out, bro. There's only so many conversations you can have in a kitchen at 6 a.m. that without rehashing the same shit. It's like we're not reinventing the wheel out here, bro. Like I've done this fucking hundreds of times before, man.
And
like,
that moment
I'll
when
be okay. I'll be okay. You know, like
that moment of clarity when you're just like, why am I talking to this person I don't know about something that doesn't matter? And you're like, it's time to go.
We are not going to start a business together, bro. Like I'm going to forget about this as soon as I wake up, man. Like, yeah.
For sure. So the soberness aside, the tour has just happened. And that was,
man.
well, your Melbourne show, and that was a look killer, dude.
It was unreal, man. See, I played the Tote on Friday night. What are we? Sunday today.
And this is going to go out right now. Hopefully.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Because I've never done that before, so hopefully it comes out
So I'll
tonight.
still be in Melbourne when this goes out, man.
There you
That'd
go,
be very cool. But no, it was amazing, man. I played, so I guess it was last year I did my tour as well, which was my first, I guess, set of headline gigs around the country. I've always done I've done bits and pieces with THC shows or supported people randomly, but most of my going around the country was to do with battle rap. But this was my first real, I did my own headline tour last year, which was very successful. And then, I just got to a point where I was like, yeah, I want to do it again. And, yeah, it was unreal gig, man. It's, especially, and as you know, being sober for the show as well, I just felt so connected with the whole crowd. It felt so organic and genuine. I wasn't having to forward like, oh, I've got to hype this bit up or I've got to connect with people. It just flowed, man.
Yeah.
It just flowed. And also, you know, I do an hour and a half set now, which is with no hype, man, at all.
Because you've got a back catalogue, that's the thing.
Yeah, man. And it gets to a point now that people are like, you're playing this song tonight? So I'm sorry, bro. I'm playing an hour and a half and you might not hear your favourite song anymore. But not smoking at the moment, man. I've been a heavy smoker my whole life. My cardio's never been good, but like, I got to the end of that set and I'm like, I got
Were the
through
effects
that.
instant though when you stopped smoking, or was there a bit of time to where you felt fucked?
Yeah, there was like, it wasn't instantly like I felt, you know, I had amazing cardio. But I was, you know, after about a month, I feel a lot clearer.
Has it changed the pitch in your voice at all, do you think?
I don't think so. Like I've done a bit of recording and I think my voice is my voice now. And like that's from doing this stuff for so long that it's got that kind of rasp to it that it will always have.
Which is a bit of your trademark, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
man. Yeah. So I don't think there's any major changes, but I feel like I'm just a lot clearer and I have a lot more breath, you know what I mean? Whereas usually I do an hour set and I get through it and I have a good time, but I'm dying at the end. I take, 10 minutes backstage to go and talk to anyone, whereas it's like I got off stage instantly the other night, could mingle with people, could chat. Yeah, I felt great, bro. I felt great, which is just, anyone who knows me is just going to be like, who are you, bro? Where is Dunners and what have you done with him? Because it's like,
there's so many things that I want to talk about, but let's just dive into your story to start with, and then we can bring up a bunch of stuff. So you grew up in pubs, right?
Yeah.
You're doing the live musical kind of thing because your brother was a musician. That's your introduction to music, yeah?
Yeah, so, a few of my older brothers I've got 4 older brothers. 3 of them are half brothers. They're like kind of 12 to 13 years old. I'm not exactly
Which is significant
sure.
when you're growing up.
But it was very cool that they were my cool older brothers that were teenagers when I was a kid and they were into grunge and metal and things like that. So I had a lot of influences from them over the years. And then my older brother, Anton, we've got the same mum and dad. He's 18 months older than me. And he was like still an amazing guitar player, amazing musician, a better singer than me, bro. He's a crazy good singer. But so in high school, we were playing together. We were doing stuff with guitar and assemblies in primary school even, you know what I mean? But in high school, he was in like a punk band, like in a pop punk band. And they, supported like Frenzal Rom and Body Jar. And also you got the Mind Snare.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they supported... Yeah. Frenzal and Mind Snare did a tour together back in the day.
I found out a Frenzal Rom the other day is a real thing. I thought it was just a cool word.
Yeah, I think I've researched it once.
It's a light refraction thing.
That's
right.
A Frenzal Rom.
Yeah, I just figured that out.
So that was for me, and there was a lot of musical stuff going on in high school. I was playing in bands in high school. I guess because there was so many good guitarists. Growing up, I played a bit of guitar here and there. Was never as good as my older brother. And then guys I even went to high school with were far better than me. And
was hip hop on your radar though?
Yeah, man. Hip hop was from.
But you didn't see people making it, or you?
No, not in the early stages. Everything was really. We had a lot of. you know, I grew up in the late 90s, man. So, you know, Rage Against the Machine, which what turned into new metal and rapcore and stuff was happening. But, which is how I guess I got into it. You know, it was probably, I think it was a body count song. So me and my friends were in a jam room in high school, and I'm like, obviously I'm not the best at guitar, and I just picked up the mic and started rapping a body count verse over some kind of beat they were doing, and I could see my mates go, dude, do that shit more, bro. Do something. And I was like, okay, cool. So that was kind of the start of it. And then in Tassie, most of Tassie, we've got, so our high school system is kind of split up. We've got grade 7 to 10, which is high school, and then we've got college or matric, which is grade 11 and 12. And college is not like high school in the fact of it's like this. It's very chill. There's no school uniform. You kind of rock up if you want to go to school. But going from grade 10 to grade 11, I guess the year before when I was in grade 10, my brother was in grade 11 at this college. His band, Ballpoint, they were called, a punk rock band. They won the state rock challenge in Tasmania, and that's my big brother, man. So I'm like following.
And that's
around
how he got to
gigs.
support those acts and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. So I was watching him do this when I was in grade 10, and then I'd start to go to, when I was in grade 10, starting to go to parties from his college and meeting a lot of dudes. And even back then, I'm like, I'd been in kind of more like rap metal kind of bands in high school, but I was like, I want to do something that's hip hop. I don't want to have a metal or rock element to it. I want to do some stuff that's very much solid, like a live interpretation of hip hop. Because I didn't know any DJs back then or anything, but I knew.
But a lot of those bands then that you're probably looking up to were rock bands with a hip hop influence, not hip hop bands.
Exactly. So, but by the time I was doing these parties, I started like talking to a few dudes that were, bass players, drummers, and I'm like, when I get to Rosny next year, this college, I want to start a hip hop band. So even before I got to college, we had the lineup set up, and my brother, he was in the band with me as well, and he can rap, you know what I mean? He was like, put his hand up, he's like, oh fuck, I'll jump in this band with you, dude. So we started playing. We do like common room gigs at my school. We do like people would be having parties, dude, on a weekend. We might only have like 4 songs, but like, dude, we'll pay you guys 2 slabs to do a party. We'd be like sick. I remember there were certain nights we'd do one party, and someone would get a call going, there's a party down in this suburb. They're going to pay us another slab to do a gig. So we'd load our shit into a car and go down to the next suburb and do a different party and play.
Blue Cans?
Yeah. I think, was this before Blue Cans or not? It was, but back then it was, we're like fucking 16, bro. Whatever we can get our hands on. Like, sweet, bro. 4 beers, I'm pissed, man. But through that, we ended up we did our school rock challenge. And it was, we were doing like, we used to do like a cover of like Bust a Move by, and some Run DMC covers and stuff, but originals as well. But we won our school rock challenge, and then we went into the southern heat of the rock challenge, won the southern heat, and then we won the fucking state final, which I don't know if people remember back in the day, Fly TV. Do you remember Fly TV? It was like an ABC young person kind of thing. I think it was like a bit of a replacement for Recovery.
Okay,
But Fly TV actually documented us doing this thing. I never saw it, man. I didn't.
Is it on the internet?
No, I haven't seen it. I don't know, but I know I went out there back on the day. There was our band was called Unleash the Nugget, and there was a little mini doco that went out on this thing, Fly TV, where we won the state rock challenge as a hip hop band. You know what I mean? The first and I think only hip hop band that's ever won a rock challenge.
Are they still do that competition?
Yeah, they'd still do a version of it. You know what I mean? I judged. I think I went back and judged the Rosny College rock band, the rock challenge, a few years ago now. But I guess that was my thing for many. Like, my start in hip hop was a band kind of, and I wasn't necessarily in the hip hop scene as such, but it was around about end of grade 11, and there was a couple of dudes that rapped at the school, you know what I mean? And as you do, you go to parties and like, this dude raps as well. You have a cypher and stuff like that. And it was one of my mates from college, his name, Sam, his name was Arch. And as I said, I was a rapper, and I was quite well known. We were doing shows and gigging at pubs and stuff, but I wasn't in the hip hop scene. And my mate Arch was like, bro, there's these monthly hip hop nights down at a place called Mobius called On Point, bro. They do rap battles and shit like that. He was
that's in Lonnie though, isn't it?
No, this is all Hobart, bro.
Mobius is in Hobart.
Mobius is in Hobart. It's a little down. It's still there, bro. It's still there. Like, it's very much that hasn't changed in such a long time. You still go down there, you stick to the floor, But that was my my introduction into the hip hop scene in Tassie, of where I started to get my name out and meet people, was through my mate. My mate took me to that, and I started going in the freestyle battle nights. You know what I mean? And I was cutting my teeth. I was pretty good with it back then with the freestyles. I'm really shit with the freestyles these days because I never kept up with it, bro. But back then I was passionate and hungry. So I'd go in these rap battles, man, and I'd, usually, whether I was getting the final or the semi-final, but I was starting to make some noise through that. And that's when I started to meet probably one of the first dudes I met that I really connected with was a guy called Medusa, who was an absolute king of Tassie hip hop. Medusa's been pretty quiet for a long time.
Was he a bit older?
I think Deuce was about 8 years older than me. I think something like that.
Right. So you were like 18, 19.
Yeah, I was probably 16, man.
Yeah,
so because I had my older brother who's 18 months older than me, he had ID, but he wasn't always going out. So I'd be like, bro, can I borrow you? Because we look fairly similar, or enough that people, quick look, So I'd go out on his ID. To the point that I'd only mainly go to this club, so I got in a few times, and then for years it was. So I remember going there on my 18th birthday, and the owner Benny, who I'm still mates with, our daughters go to school, but he's come up with a drink. He's like, "Happy birthday, brother!" And he's like, "How old are you, man?" I'm like, 18. He's like, "You little cunt, bro." And I'm like, "Sorry, man." But so I met Medusa, and that's how we started doing. Which Benny here as well, my man Benny, who's fucking give me a lift out. He's a Tassie boy. Was a bartender at Mobius and DJ for many fucking years, man. So yeah.
I have a very similar story. Sorry to cut in about being 18.
Yep.
I'll tell it to you later.
No, you need to get Ben on for a podcast, man. He's got heaps of fucking yarns. And so I guess I was still doing this stuff with Unleash the Nugget. We were playing we played Falls Festival. We played what else? We played Gone South, like different little festivals that were popping up back in the day down there. We played we did the National Campus Battle of the Bands. We won the Tassie one. Went to Adelaide and did that. So I was still doing this for Unleash the Nugget was around for many years, but then
is there talks of labels and stuff? Is it?
Not so much. We were very much independent and just kind of rocking out ourselves. Like we did a couple of EPs that we released, but yeah, I met a dude, Medusa. Me and Medusa were living like pretty much in the same suburbs. So after about 12 months of knowing him, he got me in to do one of his tracks off his album Sounds From Our Town, which if you're from Hobart and that hip hop, that's an integral fucking release for our town. Medusa was levels above. Like still I can listen to his raps from back in the day, which was, I think they released that in like 2005 maybe, but it was levels above that, from what anyone was doing down there. But yeah, I met Medusa, we started catching up, making tracks together just organically, and then after a bit we had like 4 or 5 tracks, and it's like maybe we should start a bit of a crew doing this. So then we got we had DJ Grotesque and DJ Dameser. You know Dameser, wouldn't you? So Dames has done, DMCs. He was the touring DJ for Briggs for many years, But we started a crew which was originally called Damaged Goods, and then I think there was another crew called Damaged Goods Crew or Collective or something. So we changed it to Heads of State. And I think it was from about 2005 till about maybe like 2008, I was in this crew, Heads of State, and that was, that's how I kind of got my name out there a lot. So I guess
the battle rapping as well.
This was before
you really pushed it.
This was before the a cappella side of battle rapping. So I was still doing, the bi-monthly, battle nights down there. And it was usually like me and Medusa were usually the two dudes. One of us would be in the final. And we had a thing of like, if we got to the final, and it was always, you'd win a carton, but it wasn't any money, but there was a carton for the winner. So we get to the final, we go like, split the carton, bro. And it'd be like, sweet, man, sweet. So doing bits and pieces of that. And I guess with Unleash the Nugget, we moved to Melbourne, a couple, not the whole band, but like the 3 main members, myself, my brother, and Gilly G, the guitarist, he's been a massive musician that's toured the world with certain bands and things like that. Crazy
like a
guitarist.
session, like a
yeah. I can't remember exactly what bands he was in, but he's done some hectic, cool things over the years, and blown up. But we moved to Melbourne 2008. Just these kind of fresh-faced kids. We got a Monday night residency at the Evelyn. We had a few session musos from Melbourne. Was doing that for a couple of years. I don't know. I guess it never took off. We all, you know, as we were young, I was very much off my head back then as well. Like,
But was Melbourne a spin out coming from somewhere like Hobart, though?
oh yeah, man. Because I was fucking big fish, small pond. Everyone knew me in Hobart. I've been doing this shit since high school. You know, like, and then to get over here, no one gave a fuck, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So it was good, man. It was good. Like,
You didn't anticipate it like that? You're like, I'm going to get there.
yeah,
and
man.
it's
Yeah, bro. We're gonna get to Melbourne. We're gonna blow up. We're gonna get signed. Like all this shit. And it just did not happen that way. You know, and that era of like 2009, 2008, 2009, there was a lot of hip hop bands, man. And we went, in Tassie with like the only live hip hop band. Was you get over here, this fucking live hip hop band,
there's stuff going on every night.
Yeah, exactly. Every single night, man. It's one that you've got to get your name out in Melbourne. You've got to be out there doing your thing. But we like, and which I was for a while, man. I remember meeting. I remember when First Floor was going, because we'd do the Evelyn of a Monday, and then First Floor would have a thing on a Monday as well. And I remember meeting like Fluent Form when he was coming up. You know what I mean? Like, and lots of different dudes. But I guess I was living in Melbourne for a couple of years, and we were keeping up with it and doing things. We had plans to record an album in this band, and then I don't know. We're all doing separate things, and then it was 2010 that I'd been a massive battle rap head, since I got into rap. I always loved battle rap, and even I remember, downloading fucking, Eminem freestyles and battles on Napster and shit back in the day,
LimeWire and stuff. Ruining the family computer.
Yeah, fucking hell. I remember, even before when you couldn't actually resume a download, whereas like you'd have something
put on before you go to school, and then you'd look at it.
Or you'd have something going for so long, and mum would pick up the phone, and you're like, Mum, fucking, she's like, I need to use the fucking phone. Like, but so I was always, and then I think it was around. I watched the WRCs, which 60 and Anecdote were in, which was 2006, 2007, and that's when the a cappella stuff started to happen. I did went off because I also moved to Melbourne in about 2004 for about 6 to 12 months, and I went in a couple of. I went to Revolver a couple of times, went in the heats, never got through to the actual battle things. But I remember seeing Justice battle in about 2004 and just being like, what the fuck, man? Like, seeing dudes like that happen.
It was different to Hobart.
Yeah,
Where
man.
it was the same crew all the time,
Same crew all the time. And I remember back in the day when I was first battling Hobart, bro, like, you could do an absolute shit verse of saying nothing. If you just had that one burner line in there, just one, a minute-long verse, one single punchline, you'd win the battle. You know what I mean? Whereas I was come and seen dudes like Justice, like, bang, multi, punchline. I'm just like, what the fuck, bro?
But you needed that to push you, though.
Yeah, fucking oath, man, fucking oath. But I was also starting to watch and started to see, okay, there's dudes when they started to do the written and a cappella legs where people like, yeah, we're writing. Because I think there was many years where people are obviously, whether it's a full written verse, but you guys are preparing shit at home. You've got something, you've got a dude that's skinny. You're going to have the line about him being skinny, and you're going to go have multis to go off, or this, that, and the other. So it got to the written era, and people just upfront about it, like, okay, we're writing for each other. You know what I mean? And that was around the time of WRC started, that was really happening. Then you had Grind Time, which was an American league, and I was watching Grind Time a lot through my mates Dames and Grills, who I go way back with. We were all watching this battle rap stuff. Even though we weren't like involved with it, we were fucking big fans of that. Studying it, man. So yeah, Grind Time, Don't Flop started to pop up, I think about 2008 as well.
It's hard for kids that weren't around in that time to know how big battle rap was. Like, because it sort of timed with the internet and people sharing videos, which it kind of popped off. Before that, you couldn't share videos like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, it was a different, like even after 8 Mile, man, you know what I mean? Like people don't realise it was huge. We're down at these hip hop nights in Tassie, there'd be 200 people packed out in these small clubs, and not hip hop heads, man, like all different types of people that have never been to a battle before, and they're all there like, full getting into it, man. But yeah, we were studying it down in Tassie for a long time, and then Grills started a league. I think it was originally called, was it called Battles at the Bowl, maybe? Or Taz Battles, it was called. Sorry, there was another one called Battles at the Bowl. So Grills was doing that for a while, but this is when I was living in Melbourne. I think he started this about 2008. And he did, which I think may still be online somewhere. There was he battled Medusa, which was my dude that I came up with. You know what I mean? And that was like a big thing for Tassie back then. And
he's younger, because that's
Grills,
a big 10 years or something.
Yeah, Grills was 3 years younger than me, man. And Grills was like coming out to events when I was 18. He was 15. He'd sneak into the smokers and fucking freestyle with people.
But he was always a big dude. Like he looked old enough.
Yeah, I guess so, man. I guess he just had the confidence as well. You know what I mean? He just kind of got away with it. But he was just there. He was just there. Like, even when he couldn't get into venues, there was a lot of times down the waterfront that you'd go outside for a smoke. It'd be out the front of the venue, and there's this kid kind of freestyling at you. And Grill's always had that passion for it. But he started the Battle League back in, I think it was 2008, man. And I was in Melbourne, but I was like, yeah, I'll kind of do it, but I just never got it. And it was about 2010 or end of 2009. He's like, just battle me, bro. Let's just do one for this. So I battled Grills at the Brisbane Hotel for Taz Battles. It was like January 2010. First a cappella battle where I wrote for it. You know what I mean? Like,
but you guys are very close at this stage as well. So you kind of
man.
like
know
a lot about each other.
I mean, well, I feel like me and Grills actually became good mates after the fact of that. We were more... it was more like a competitive edge, but we were mates. We knew each other, but it was still like I was
still want to beat him.
I was still like the top dog back then, and he was the youngster coming up. And there was like, and I still, to a lot of these dudes from the hip hop scene, represented like, the way I came into it through music. They're like, no, you're a musician, bro. You're not a fucking. So there was a lot of that more the graph scene of cunts that wanted to see me fucking fall, man. You know what I mean?
Because you're from the guitar side of it.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? But it was more that after that battle happened with Grills, that's when like I started to, fly myself, go up to Real Talk in Brisbane. There was Real Talk Battle League popping off. Got Beef Battle League was popping off, and it was more that touring around, going around the country as the two dudes from Tassie. That's when our friendship really blossomed. And so I was doing it for.
And you guys were a formidable duo back then. Like there was a lot of respect for you guys.
Yeah, man. We were like, we were. It's weird because it just kind of came, and I don't think we realised as well, because we were just in Tassie for a lot of it, that we did that first battle, man, and we were like, it wasn't doing crazy views. It's not like some of the battles that we're doing later on in the piece, but we just kind of did it, and we didn't realise how much people were watching around the country. We were just like, oh, it's more of a Tassie thing that people. Until months later, I was starting to get out and go to these other battles, and dudes like, dude, I saw you in that battle, like all around the country, and it's fuck, like people actually took notice of this. So I did battles for. I feel like that first year or two of me battling. This is when I like battled Cursor. I battled Cursor before Cursor had blown up, man. You know what I mean? I didn't know what a lad was, but I'm from Tassie, bro. I didn't know what. I remember when I got Cursor. They're like, "You want to battle Cursor?" I was like, and I had to hit my mate up, and I was like, what the fuck's a lad, bro? And he's like, oh, and he's like a bit of a piss take on my mate. And I thought he was stitching me up, because he's like, this is like old school lads, and he's like, bro, so there's this subculture from Sydney, and they wear like short shorts, and they wear polo tops with the collar up, and like, it was so far. I'd never seen one, man. It was so foreign to me. I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, so I based so many of my lines with Cursor off what my fucking piss taker mate said to me. And there was a moment of doing that battle, I'm like, is this cunt stitching me up? Like, am I going to drop these bars and people are just going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? But a lot of that first year or two, and there's certain levels of when I've stepped up here and there, but I reckon the first 12 months of me battling, when I was writing, I would write 2 nights, bro. Write a verse, bang, stream of consciousness, that's that line, done. Second verse, done. Whereas, I didn't put too much thought into it. I was just like, here's the verses, bang, they're put out there. So
and they're fluid because they move on the night. If he says something, can you do like
you can a bit. I wasn't doing too much freestyles back then. Like I learned how to later on in the piece really incorporate freestyles into it where you need to. But yeah, back then it was much more it was just a very basic kind of stream of consciousness. It's kind of an extension of freestyling almost. Like I might have a minute or two but I wasn't putting too much thought into my lines, where it was about, it was a couple of years after that I really started to put the time into it. And I think for the first few years I was doing it, I was getting towards the top of the scene in Australia, but I wasn't quite up the top. I was kind of the upper tier, but the bottom of the upper tier, you know.
Because at that stage, 360 had gone international to do it.
Yeah, yeah. And that's, Grills Battle 60 was at end of 2010. And that was just before 60 really blew up, you know what I mean? I think maybe the festival song had came out.
But probably had by 2010.
But it was before like Falling and Flying, and Cursor hadn't blown up or anything yet either. But I think I got to about 2014, and that's when people were starting to recognise, okay, you're one of the top heads in Australia. At the same time, the scene was starting to die off a little bit around 2014. There was a bit of a lull at the end of 2014. 2015 is when I had my daughter. My ex got pregnant end of 2014, and I was like, okay, I'm done with battle rap. You know what I mean? It's time to grow up, kind of thing.
But don't jump ahead though, because there's a bit more that goes into it. Because you do the battles in Australia and you go international as well.
Well, this is what I mean, but that was all after my daughter was born. So I was like, okay, that's done. The battle rap period of my life, that's done. And I spent 2015 just, I was working construction, kind of being a dad. And then I think I did one battle towards the end of 2015. I battled Big Cos, shout out Big Cos from Real Talk Battle League. He came to Hobart. Did a great battle. It was a really fun battle, but just a really small time thing. And I guess I was saying, even the years prior, I was always on the cusp of like, I got promised to like, yeah, you're going to get this international battle. And I never got that next step. I never got an international battle. I never got like the Purpose or the 360 or the huge names that kind of, put you to the top of it. But and then it was start of 2016. Like, and I just thought I'd do the one battle against Big Cos that, the fucking bit of that won't really be happening. Started 2016, and I got offered Amped Up Battle League offered me Harry Baker, who was a guy from England. So not a massive name in the scale of like international battle rap, but like a bit of had quite a cult following. He was very big in the poetry scene, like, and he'd won certain things to do with poetry, and a very, very niche kind of posh battler, but very funny. So I did that one. I did a battle against Harry Baker. And then next thing you know, Shuffle T, who was starting to blow up from Don't Flop in England, and he got flown out to Australia. I battled Shuffle T, and then off the strength of that, King of the Dot from Canada hit me up. So this is 2016. My daughter's not even one yet, bro. Like, so then it was.
So you think it's behind you by this stage?
I thought it was done, man, because I'd really try. And then King of the Dot hit me up, and they're like, "Do you want to come over and do World Domination this event in Canada?" Which was. I think it was only a couple of weeks after my daughter turned 1 that I actually went to Canada, and which was crazy, man. Because I'm still like, I'm in Hobart working fucking construction, bro. Like sweating my fucking balls off every day, like doing 10-hour days. Like had to, fully had to like plead with my boss. Like, I don't think you understand. This is a real opportunity to go out. Can I have the time off to go?
It's not just going to the mainland.
You kind of leave us in the lurch, mate. But all right, fuck me, dude. Yeah. But going over there, man, and it was, and I mean, even the getting over there was a fucking mission, bro. I got delayed in LAX for like 17, 18 hours. So I was meant to get in the day before to Canada. I got there the afternoon of and had and lost my luggage on the way. I had so I got to Canada, bought a change of clothes, got to the battle, first verse of the first battle of the whole entire fucking event, bro. And I shut it down, bro. I fucking killed it. And I was like the talk of the town when I got there. But I'm here rubbing shoulders with, Thesaurus and fucking Pat Stay and Head Ice. And
people you've seen on the internet.
These dudes that I have fucking idolised for years, man. And it was just like, fuck me.
You get props from them?
Oh, man. The first person that I got off stage, like I've battled this guy realistic. And I've got the first person that came up to me, which was Head Ice, who's, if people don't know, you go back to the fucking Smack DVD era of like a New York old school, but this dude's a fucking king, bro. He goes back to the 90s of connection with it. So that was huge. That was like my breakthrough on the international scene, was doing World Domination in 2016.
For sure. And this is the thing. I'm guessing when you have the name Mick Dunn D or Dunn D, right? Yeah. It lends itself to an international audience really well, but you're not thinking that when
Nah.
That's perfect for a North American audience.
Which they love. There's so much. And I didn't quite realise till I got over there. And after being, doing it a few times, I'd fucking lean into it. But I did also, the first battle I leaned into the Aussie shit. Coming from Tassie, I'm a very fucking I'm a very Aussie cunt, bro. You know what I mean? It's
well,
like
that's the thing. Like
it is naturally me, but I know how to fucking exaggerate it as well. I fully, you know, and I did something about, you know, fucking the line that shut down the venue was something about, you know, is about being from Australia and how much more dangerous it was in Australia than the streets of America. And I had this line about we got kangaroos in mating season that'll fuck you to death. And it fucking shut the place down, bro. You know what I mean? But it was still, even when I got there, my opponent who'd been, you know, talking a heap of shit online, and then I met him, he was a really nice dude, realistic. But instantly he's just like, Aussies, dude, I love you guys, man. Like, and started bringing up all this Australian culture, like Chopper, dude, I love that movie. You know what I mean? And like, fuck, I know, you know, I know Chopper's son from being in Tassie. Like if you're from if you're from Hobart, you know Chopper's son. But I was just like, bro, I know his son, man. He's just like, what, dude? Like, but they fucking love us, bro. They fucking love us over there. There's a lot of, I don't know if it's a throwback. I think, and you know, the Crocodile Dundee movies were huge over there. Like, so yeah, it definitely worked in my favor, bro.
For sure. Yeah, it's like you didn't intend it for that to be its purpose, but it worked when you went international.
Yeah. And it was like, it felt like there's certain bits like, you know, because I think Australia originally, our fucking battle rap scene was much more jokes, you know what I mean? Which is what I love, bro. I love being able to just...
We're a jovial nation.
You know, we are a bunch of fucking piss takers, man. But I think our battle rap scene was a reflection of that as well, that, it, you know, there was some people doing intricate bars that could do well, but it like... just a funny joke that didn't have many layers to it. You didn't have to overthink it. A funny like one-liner would shut the place down. And that's where, but when I remember going over there, I was like, I've got to put some bars into it because I don't want people to say, oh, he's only one-off jokes. So, but it was so much of like, I'd put these intricate bars in, which worked well, and there's some people that vibe with it, but it's the one-liners that people really, really vibe with, and especially with my style, man. Like, you know, I became way more known for bars towards the end of it because I really studied the culture, but it was that jovial fucking piss take Australian style that I got known for, man.
And you've been, even just coming from Tassie to Melbourne, you're already sort of the underdog, and you're already sort of, these guys are going to make jokes about us being from Tassie, having two heads, rooting our cousins, whatever. Yeah. So when you go to Thingo, you're like, they're going to make jokes about me being Australian, so I've got to get in before them and beat them at their own game.
Exactly. And I think that's a big difference between us and, you know, Americans, Canadians, is Australians are so good at self-deprecating in a humorous way. And especially, coming from Tassie, your whole entire life, you go interstate, I'm from Tassie, oh, you fucked your cousin, mate. Like, from when I was about 8 years old.
It's
like,
non-stop, eh?
What's incest? Like, oh, fucking, you're from Tassie, mate. You know what I mean? Like... So you become so used to fucking having that, you know, not even in a battle rap sense, but just being like, you get in first, like, yeah, fucking, I left my second head in the car eating out my sister or some shit, like, you know, like. So we're very good at self-deprecating, and being able to do that in a battle rap sense to take the wind out of someone's sails is something that I became very used to and worked very well.
For sure. And then with that whole battle rap thing, it's like people say that to make that transition from battle rap to rapper is hard. People do it, but it's few and far between, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think for myself, I obviously had an extensive background in music, and music was even though I loved battle rap, music was my priority for many fucking years. Then when battle rap took off, that just overtook everything to the point that I found it. For one, I didn't have the time to do music because when I was at my peak, I was doing a battle every maybe 2 to 3 months, which it wasn't like the days of I'd write it in 3 nights in a couple of hours. I would 2 months, every fucking spare second of my day would go into this shit, you know, which is
how deep do you dive into
fucking so deep, man. You've never seen fucking snitching like you have in the battle rap scene, bro. Like
ringing up their messaging their friends.
But no, you'd battle someone and like I've been in, but one of their mates hits you up like, bro, fucking this cunt pissed himself at a party, or something, you know, like it was. But and it's such I've spoken about this before. I loved it, man, but I don't think I could ever step back into it. It's
toxic, though, isn't it?
It's toxic as fuck, bro. And, like, you're saying negative things about a person, but you've got to focus on them, and that you obsess on, not just focus, you obsess on them for 2 months, bro. I've got to obsess on hating you for 2, which they're usually someone you're mates with by the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but how much of it is and for the showmanship of you pretend you hate each other, but when you see each other, you give
I think that's part of it. Is like pretty much every battle, maybe bar 1 or 2 where I maybe didn't like the person that much, but every single time pretty much that you battle someone, as soon as you get to the end of it, you fucking shake hands, you hug, you become really good friends after it.
Can people take it too far though?
I think there's certain times you definitely, I think it comes down to this, like anything you're prepared to say on camera, when those cameras are off, you're still in the venue with that person. And people, there's no rules to it, but there's no rules to life that people can't take offense to anything, you know what I mean? Like, no one ever crossed the line with my daughter, bro, but I can guarantee you, if they did, I don't give a fuck, bro. That, that's bigger than battle rap, man. That's bigger than battle rap. So...
And that's always the thing, because people do say personal shit all the time.
Yeah.
And you're like... It's
but a lot of it's kind of it is on the line with it, man. But yeah, I never had anything. There was some. I won't go into it. There was one person who said some shit against my daughter's mum at the time, like fucking just stepped out of the battle and said, and I didn't like the way it played out, but I didn't like the way it played out because of how he handled it. He came in before the battle and started talking to my missus and bought her fucking drinks and was trying to soften the blow. And I was like, that's whack, bro. If you're going to do it, stand on business and be a fucking, don't be like, let's be mates, But that it is what it is. That was his way of doing it. I don't hold any fucking hard feelings against it now, but it's... Yeah, for the most part, no one's really, and even then, no one's really crossed the line with me, you know what I mean? And I think you do get very thick skin about it, you know what I mean? And I still get people that say, I don't know how you do that, man. I punch someone in the face. But you just get used to it, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking...
It's like a game of footy or something.
Yeah,
you might hate them on the field.
Yeah, exactly.
Afterwards, you can shake hands and have a beer or a fucking water. And,
brother, 100%.
But the thing is with, 60 showed that he could go from being a supreme, someone who wins, to then making music. But it wasn't always happening though, was it?
We went off tangent there, talking about battles for a bit. But yeah, I guess when I was doing the battles so regularly, I found it, for one, not having the time to actually put into, because I was writing so many verses for battle raps, but also, as I said, there's a certain toxicity to the battle scene of anything you say can and will be used against you in a battle. You know what I mean? So, I can't, I've become very known for being able to be vulnerable in my tracks and absolutely pour my heart out on a track. But there was a time where I had to limit myself. I don't know if I can say that, man. Someone might fucking use that against me in a battle. I gave up battling. I've done one since, but I stopped battling end of 2018 when me and my daughter's mum split up, you know what I mean? And I just was like, fuck it, I don't want to think about battle rap anymore. And it just got to a point where I was like, finally could leave all that shit behind. I'm like, actually, I can be myself. And if I'd have kept battling the whole time and not had that kind of epiphany of you'd
have a wall up.
Because you're holding so much shit inside, and that finally being able to let it out was such a cathartic thing, writing songs like Shadows from Shine.
I'll listen to that on the way here.
So, yeah, it was a journey, man. It was a journey, and it's not something that not everyone transitions that well from going into battle rap to making music. But I think
happen a lot.
But that said, I think Australia's a bit more of a fucking exception to the rule, man. We've got Cursor, we've got 360, Grills, Manazil, Prime and Purpose. There's a lot of really good music that comes from the battle rap scene in Australia, whereas it's not always the case in certain places.
And 60 puts you down. He said right here in this podcast.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You're one of the best that he's ever battled.
And bro, nothing but respect to 60, man. He paved the way for me, bro. I would not have been able to do what I do without, I fucking used to study 60 back in the day and watch his stuff in the WRCs, man. 60 is a king of this scene, man. People, I might not necessarily listen to his albums back to back these days and the music he's making, but the respect I have for 360, bro, he's a king of not only Australian battle rap, but Australian hip hop, And
Australian music.
And he's broken, the fact that the music he makes, man, even it is broken down the doors to be, you know what people used to, fuck, I want that fucking gay singing shit, fuck. Like, bro, like, I can sing my heart out and no one fucking says shit, Fucking people like 360 fucking walk the hard road so I can fucking run, bro, you know what I mean? Like...
And that's people, people do discount how much he did for the battle rap stuff before he made commercial music. People just focus on he's on Nova, and I don't like that. You're like, man, that guy could rap for fucking years.
And he cut his fucking teeth in the scene, bro. Like, people don't realize, like, six battle rap scene 60 back in the day when he was doing revolver battles and shit like that, was a fucking king, man. 60 was on Uncut, bro. 60 was fucking signed to Uncut. People don't realize what that fucking means.
That's a story in itself.
That's like... Lyrical Commission were fucking co-signing 360. And he went from that, of having all of that on his shoulders, of like, this is the image that you have to portray. And for him to do that and then go to Falling and Flying is like, that's him being real, man. He's making the music that he wanted to make. And I think that, that's an example for so many people in this country doing Australian hip hop, because it was there was a certain staunchness you had to keep to yourself back in the day, or people would be on you like, what the fuck's that shit, man? 60 took so much flack for the music he was making originally. And it's like, not necessarily that, again, that I was listening to that music, but he broke down so many fucking walls that, people that are making music like me that have, different genres coming, I mix a lot of genres in with my music. I mix a lot of vocals and singing. Like, I'll never discount what 360 has done for this fucking scene and done for people like me, man. You know what I mean?
And then, because for hip hop, Australian hip hop for a while, it wasn't cool to have hooks that were sung on, really. Even.
Yeah. It was a different time, bro. It was a different time. And even just, the vulnerability as well, man. Like, you couldn't show that side of yourself. Like, there was a certain fucking keep it up. And I think that comes from the generation of back then, you got to fucking, you don't talk about your fucking feelings, fucking lock them away, and you drink them away on a weekend, you know what I mean? But it was like, it was a different time, man. I remember as I was coming to Melbourne from Tassie when I was young, bro, like I got put in some situations. I had knives pulled on me and shit, bro. I'm the kid from Tassie, like, oh, it's all sweet. Everyone's fucking, Tassie, everyone's mates, like, to come in here and like being in getting fucking knives held against my neck when I'm fucking a young kid, just like, what the fuck? There was
from no fault of your own or situation you put yourself in.
Not through no fault of my own, apart from maybe being a bit oblivious and ignorant to how people were. You know what I mean? Just thinking it's all love. Everyone's just but definitely didn't fucking mean to piss anyone off or say anything that I thought was I think it was just it was a different time, and I think it comes from, there's a lot of staunch side to hip hop now with drill and stuff like that, but that original like graph head kind of style scene of hip hop was pretty fucking cutthroat, man. And you had to be about it, bro. You had to stand on fucking business. It was in a different way. Not everyone was fucking, people weren't fucking warring over postcodes and fucking, pulling guns on each other, but people were punching on, fucking left, right, and fucking center, man. Like, it was a different time.
There was a lot of people fighting for the same spot, sort of thing. You know
what
I mean?
Man. Yeah. And that's like those early days. That was like everyone was a rapper. Everyone's a rapper now, and everyone's doing drill. Like, I meet so many kids through the work that I do that everyone's a drill rapper now. But like everyone after the few years preceding like 8 Mile, after the Calling drop, like. Everyone was a rapper, bro. Fucking everyone. So you had to fucking be about it, man. You really had to be. And it was a time also that you had to know the culture. I think it's different to now where you don't have to know the culture now, man. I know
they don't know.
I talk to kids all the time and they don't know that hip hop is the four elements. They're just like, what? I do rap, man. Like, and it's like, no, bro, do you know that this is all tied in? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, whereas back then you really, and coming up in Tassie, man, there was the older heads that, you'd hang out with and they'd share stories with you, and like, you had to earn it. You had to listen to these stories. You had to study the culture. You had to be around it. Like, it was, you couldn't fake it back then. Or if you were faking it, you'd get called out in a fucking second. People would pull your card like, bang, fucking, yeah.
And what's the Tassie hip hop scene like now, man?
Very healthy, bro. And I think it always comes in waves in Tassie. We had the original kind of first couple years where it was very, very healthy and everyone was, getting amongst it. Died off for a few years there, and I think that was probably around the time that, I was moving to Melbourne, battling around that time. There was still bits and pieces happening. And I'd say around about 2016, 2017 is when it started to pop off again. We started to see dudes like Wombat coming out. I think it was about 2016 that Wombat started to get his feet out in the Tassie scene. And then next thing you know, he's going all around the country and linking up with people.
That's that whole next generation.
Yeah, man, you haven't had Wombat on the cast, have you?
I've spoken to him.
Yeah. I'll have a chat to him sometime. Shout out.
Elusive guy.
He is, man. Shout out Sammy. Sammy's a fucking legend, man. I've got so much love for that dude.
Just sheer talent as well, man.
Yeah, but that was around the time that the next generation came through, and then we started to see all these different people coming through. It was Wombat, Flylacine, Stretch One, fucking, even dudes like, and it was all coming through THC originally, the THC TV channel, Butter D, Grace Chia, like fucking, and now it's like. That they're starting to, like, Grace is like becoming an OG. She's young, man, but she's like,
she's the best female rapper I think in the country.
She's so we're gonna do some tracks soon. Like, I love Grace. She's one of my good friends, man. She's a beautiful fucking human.
She's a nice person.
She is very much become, she's a very respected leader of the scene, and she leads with example. You know what I mean? And I guess with THC TV, that was like. THC, which is, I've got THC tattooed there, man. Like that means a lot to me. And THC is like Tassie Hip Hop Collective. And most people know THC through the channel. But THC goes way back before that, man. We had dudes like, so when I came into the scene, this is, 2002, when I came into the hip hop scene, I was going out to these hip hop nights. We had older dudes like Topsky, T-Ray, Medusa, Joel Imber, a lot of these old school heads that, they were like repping THC. And I'm like, what's THC? They're like, Tassie Hip Hop Collective. Like, you're one of us down here, you get to rep it, bro. And I was like, fucking cool, man.
So it's like us against the rest of the mainland?
Yeah, but it wasn't even us versus them.
There's a THC tag up there.
Fuck yeah.
Reels, I think.
Bro. Yeah. Fucking oath, man.
Yeah.
But so that was originally something that we were repping back just on a local level that we'd all kind of band together on. We'd be doing gigs in Hobart back in the day, doing THC chants and stuff like that. And it didn't really die off, but like it did its thing over the years. And then it was around the time that I was starting to go doing the international battles that Grills was like, bro, you go do all this international shit and get the name out there. And he's like, I'm going to rebrand like THC, turn it into a channel, and I really want to start pushing the younger people and the grassroots down here, which is where that kind of started from. And now, I think THC was the main thing for many years down there, whereas now a lot of people have actually, from seeing probably the blueprint of what THC is doing and also doing their own thing as well, that now you've got lots of different people doing it that aren't just under the one banner, which is that there isn't any division or anything down there. It's just that there's a lot more outlets for it now. You've got a lot more, like, obviously drill music's popped off a lot more. So you've got a lot of younger dudes down there that are doing more the grimy kind of drill side of things, and then they're killing it. We got some dope rappers down there. You got like a dude called Mearsy, who fucking grew up in the fucking system, bro. This guy grew up in juvie, prison and stuff like that. He's now using his story to try and help the fucking next gen down there. We've got,
as long as they're looking up to it in a positive way, because a lot of those guys are emulating the drill shit and it's negative, you know what I mean?
Exactly. It toes the line sometimes, and I try and get this through to a lot of these dudes. I am the OG of Tassie, bro, I really try to lead by example and not just pull cunts up in a fucking, don't do that, bro. Because I've made some negligent music over the years, man, about drugs and crime and certain things. But I really like to be able to actually have a chat to them and be like, hey, like, this is why I think you've, not to say don't do it, but have a think about what you're doing, man. Because
what does that put out there? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I see it because I'm a support worker, man. I do youth work and disability work, but I do a lot of I do a lot of workshops, man. Me and Grace have recently, we've been doing some workshops with youth justice. You know what I mean? And we're working with some real kids, man, that have been through some real shit. But it's almost like these guys are rapping, and the shit they're rapping about like is hectic, bro. We're like, fuck me, dead. You cunts are 15, and they're not just rapping about it. They're doing this shit as well. But I think that, you know, I don't want to shit on anyone, but I think that it does to an extent when you're a young. It glorifies it, man, and
it perpetuates it.
And it perpetuates. And that's what I'm trying to do with my music. Is, you know, I want to lead by example. I don't want to be all fucking, you know, just preaching at people the whole time. I want to be able to use my story to say, like, there's some mistakes I've made in my life, and there's some situations I've been through that I'm very lucky to come out the other side, bro. You know, I've overdosed on drugs before. I've been in situations with, you know, knives, guns, things like that. And there's situations that I'm lucky to come out of, bro. And there's certain mistakes you don't get the fork in the road. You could die. You could go to jail. You know what I mean? And like, what I'm trying to tell people is you don't always get that second chance like I did, you know what I mean? So there's certain mistakes that you don't want to have to go through, because you might not be able to sit here at the end of it like I am and be able to fucking tell people your experience on it. So I'm constantly trying to lead the right way with it, man.
And learn from those mistakes.
And exactly,
and
man.
Grow as a person.
Exactly. And I still am, bro. You know, even with being sober as a recent thing, like I still make mistakes, bro. You know,
everyone makes mistakes. You've got to learn
far from perfect person, but it is about being able to be self-aware of, okay, I made that mistake. What can I do instead of having Groundhog Day of just doing the same shit and expecting a different outcome? What can I put in place so this isn't going to happen again? And, you know, once you have a child as well, you know, before I had my daughter, I was deaf, you know, like not all of the music I wrote came out. So there's not too much publicly that came out that is a public record of what I was doing, but there's still certain music that's a reflection, like drugs and crime, bro. Like, and before you have a child, you just don't realize. Like,
because you think about yourself, you're not thinking about how this might impact the other people around.
Not at all, man. When I was fucking, you know, 24, 25 and fucking selling drugs and I didn't give a fuck if I died tomorrow, bro. You know, not like in a very selfish way, like fucking, yeah, you know, whatever. Like, but and then, yeah. And I remember I used to tell people all the time, like, I can't have kids, bro. I can't look after myself, man. I'm a fucking absolute fuck up. I can't look after myself. There's no way I can have kids. Then you have a child and, you know, it all changes, man. And it's, for me, I knew that I'd already there's some of my music that's out on the internet and that will be there forever, bro. And that my daughter, you know, she's young now. She doesn't listen to all my music, and I'm very wary about what music I show her. But there will be a time when she's a teenager or an adult or whatever that she'll probably dig deep on my music and listen to it.
Someone will show it to her.
Or someone will show it to her. Or someone she goes to school with will bring it up. And it's like, I want to be able to show her that, yes, maybe there was that stuff there, but here's my redemption. You know what I mean? And it's got to have that balance, you know, like that. I myself, as much as I go on about, you know, drill music's, but I've influenced people negatively, man. I know there's people that looked up to me that have, you know, that I've glorified drugs or crime or whatever, and they've like, Dunn has said it's cool, man. I can do it, you know what I mean? So I'm also trying to fucking bring that back a bit and like, yes, I've influenced people negatively, but I want to have a positive influence, and I want my positivity to outweigh my negativity by when my days are done on this earth. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Man, we're gonna have a quick break. We've been talking for an hour. I'm gonna go take a piss. We're back. So, man, you were saying some pretty.
Fuck, we're having combos off camera.
We're having some combos off camera, but so we're just talking about people, and now it's good now that people can talk about mental health.
Yep.
But I've had this chat with a few people where are we focusing too much on it now that it's giving people a way of using it as a card that they can play?
I think there's two sides to it, man. There's two sides to it of like my generation not talking about it fucking at all is not healthy, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's very healthy to be able to talk to both your mates and people around you about how you're feeling, you know what I mean? But it can't become your be all and end all, you know what I mean? And I don't know if it's a generational thing or not, but I feel like, you know, me me and my bro Ben here were talking about that. We used to party, bro, back in the day. Me and this cunt used to like 4 nights a week going out all night, fucking, all this shit. But we'd still rock up and go to work, you know what I mean? And we didn't have mental health days back in my day, bro. Like you just show up no matter how fucked you feel. That like I feel that sometimes that if you focus on it too much, then you can, and feeling sorry for yourself too much, you don't actually get above that situation and feeling shit.
So the balance is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You can't, and my dad has been working since he was 14 years old. My dad's, it would be a fucking sick cunt to get on this podcast, man, just for the yarns that my dad fucking tells. He's lived many, many lives, man. But my dad he was adopted, but then his adopted dad, on my dad's 14th birthday, on the fucking day, dropped dead on the doorstep from a stroke in front of him. Jesus. When he was 14 years old. My man's born in 47, so he's old school, bro. Yeah. And my old man had to go out the next fucking night. He quit school. Next night he was working, wow. And has not stopped working his whole life.
That's a baptism of fire. Like,
you know what I mean?
You are now the man of the house type of thing.
And, I think I was talking about this on, shout out the bro Sav as well, fuck. We talked about it a bit on his podcast, but different circumstances, that fucking a lot of alcohol on that one. There was probably certain points I didn't get to make with it. But when my marriage broke down, it was fucking brutal, man. I wasn't, not that it's ever an easy thing when a fucking long-term relationship breaks down, but it was very messy the way it happened in the end. And I remember the first 3 or 4 nights I was staying at my dad's house, and I was sitting there on my dad's couch, like drinking red wine, smoking weed, just like fucking feeling like a fucking mess. I think I did it for 2 or 3 nights, and I had like 2 days off work. And the third night, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing, mate?" And I was like, "Excuse me, I've just gone through." He's like, "I don't give a fuck, bro." Like, he's like, "I do give a fuck," but he's like, "Mick, you got to understand, man, like, life's hard, bro. Life's hard, and shit like this happens all the time." And he's like, "Bro, it's hard." He's like, "I've been through this many breakups in my life." He's like, "You've got to show up. You can't not go to work and fucking sit here feeling sorry for yourself the whole fucking time, mate. Like, these are the times that make or break you, that you can get stuck in this cycle of feeling sorry for yourself, or you can go out there and fucking work." He's like, he's like, "I've been doing this since I was 14, mate. I didn't have a fucking chance to go feel sorry for myself. My old man passed away. I had to fucking do it, And I remember at the time, I was like, it's a bit fucking harsh, mate. But it's like, no, it's like that. And that's it's tough love, which I needed, which is if he had sat there and gone, "Oh, mate," I probably would have, like...
It enables you.
It would have enabled it. And I would have kept on getting off my head. But I was like, "Oh, actually, no, I can't." Like, and that's like,
At least he gave you a couple of days, though.
Yeah.
You need to process it.
That's it. And there is. And this, you do need time to process shit when shit happens. And you can occasionally have those moments. But you can't get stuck in those moments, man, because then it's and yeah, I was saying this again on the Sav podcast, man, that you can get addicted to those feelings, man. Even if it's a miserable, depressed feeling, you're feeling something, bro. Uh-huh. You know what I mean? You can get addicted to feeling depressed or feeling sad and fucking, listening to the same song, drinking red wine, going, fucking woe is me. You can get addicted to it, and you can get stuck in a pattern of doing it, that you've got to be able to recognize when you're doing that and go, okay, that's done now. I need to fucking move on. And I'm not talking, like, there's certain things that happen in life that people don't get over, Some people, fucking certain things might happen that it's not as easy as that. I'm not speaking for everyone, but I'm speaking from my experience, man, that it's very important. There's a balance of it that, yes, it's fucking healthy to talk about. But it can't become your whole personality.
No.
And you've got to learn some resilience, because there will be times that you don't have people there to fucking talk to, that you've just got to soldier on, especially when you've got kids, man. You got to soldier on, you know what I mean? And that's not, I've had fucking moments where I have like dropped the ball even when I've got my daughter and I'm not doing well. But I have my quick moment. I'm just like, no, I've got to fucking pull my socks up now, and I've got to keep going, because this is what my parents gave to me. They fucking did this for me my whole fucking life, and I've got to be able to do this for my daughter. And
it's good that you've got music as an outlet as well, because not everyone has that. So some people don't even, not only do they not talk about their feelings, but they don't have an artistic outlet to kind of have that cathartic release.
Yeah, and it's huge for me, bro, that So many times, man, and I've learnt the process of it these days of how healthy it is. But so many times in the past, like I was upset or I was depressed or I was going through some shit, and I didn't even know where I was going to go with my thought process of how to move forward. But I'd be able to write a fucking verse or a piece of music that, without even knowing that it's I've written something down. I'm like, fuck, that's poignant, bro. I'm actually going to do this right now. So it's like, I'm a lot of the time when I'm doing this music and it's like vulnerable and it's cathartic, I'm penning my own affirmations to be like, no, it's gonna be okay, bro. Like, so it's been hugely important to me, man.
Do you listen to that stuff? Like,
yeah, but I still, it's still, I went through, I've got the song Lucky Man, which is a very, very positive song, and like people fucking hit me up regularly to tell me how that song's, saved their life, man, and people realize how lucky they are. Like, but I still, I went through it, I'm still learning with relationships, man. I've made a lot of mistakes with fucking women over the years, but like, the girl I was with last year, man, we had a pretty fucking gnarly breakup. This is just before I went on tour last year, and I didn't listen to Lucky Man for a couple months, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And it would and then there was one night that I did listen again. I was like, oh, fuck. I forgot about this, man, and that can happen. Like, whereas I try and adhere to myself to it. But I'm, as we were saying before, I still make a lot of mistakes, man, and I'm still learning. But it's a bit of a public record that I can go back to with a lot of my songs, bro. With a lot of my songs. And I try and not get, with depressed feelings, and music and emotions for me go hand in hand, bro. I've got playlists I listen to when I'm fucking feeling miserable, playlists I listen to when I'm happy, when I'm aggressive, like certain things. You gotta be able to pull yourself up when you realize you're getting stuck on a certain emotion, man. I remember what's it fucking called? I've got a song called Undertow off Phoenix, which was very much it's a beautiful song. I love that song. I put so much into it, but it's quite a fucking sad song, man. And I remember when I wrote it and when I'd recorded it, like, I don't know, it was a couple week period of listening to that song a lot, man, a lot. And I realized after a bit, when I was listening to this song, it kept me in the emotions from that song, those sad emotions. Or I had to myself be like, fuck, I've actually got to stop listening to this song for a bit because it's keeping me in that fucking mind state of being sad, you know what I mean?
But it's having an effect on other people for them to message you and with Lucky Man or with any of your songs and say, hey man, this is really, and that it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, man. And even, I've had, there's some songs that the emotions are huge too. I've got Pull Your Head In, Mate. Fuck, I'm gonna just give me a sec, man. So Pull Your Head In, Mate is about my best mate that I grew up with, Johnny. And Johnny got very, very stuck in a methamphetamine addiction.
Which is a big problem in Tassie.
I think Australia-wide. I don't think it's necessarily any worse in Tassie. He was in Melbourne. He still lives in Melbourne. Johnny's still very much in active addiction, man. And I wrote that song for Johnny. You know what I mean? And he's come out of addiction a few times and he's hit me up sober, and it doesn't last very long, man. And I still talk to him, and it doesn't last very long. And then the last time I spoke to Johnny, man, he'd been in like a drug house, where, on court order, and you're around people that are trying to get off drugs or whatever. And he'd been telling me a bit that he was struggling. And then one night he sent me a video of he was shooting up, bro. This was fucking about 12 months ago. And that was like the last time that I spoke to Johnny. And that's so, doing Pull Your Head In, Mate live for the last 12 months has been so difficult when to act, I've really got to hold myself together to fucking get through it, man. But then the positive of that is that so many people hit me up about that song. They're like, bro, this got me off the shit, bro. And even in my life, Johnny's little brother, Ash, who's fucking, another guy you should get on for a podcast, he's runs a channel called Breaking the Cycle Tassie.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure how long it is now. Ash is about 4 months clean off everything. And Ash was, deep in active addiction, man. But, Ash has been taken some of the stuff from Pull Your Head In, Mate. When I saw he was getting clean, I was there with him from the start, chatting to him, you know what I mean? And Ash has fucking turned his life around. But then that's had the knock-on effect to me of he's been a huge part of me getting sober, bro. That I'm seeing Ash, fuck, he's given up piss, he's given up fucking meth, bro. Like, so that's, if he can do that, I can give up piss, man. You know what I mean? So, but it's hard.
It helps when you see those references, though.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I had so many people at the show on Friday night that come up. They're like, "Dunners, you saved my life, bro." And I'm like, "Thanks, bro." They're like, "No, you don't. You saved my life. Like, I did pull your head in, mate, at the end of it." And that's like one of the songs I finished with on acoustic guitar. And there was a girl that had come up to me earlier in the night and telling me about I think it was her mum. Mum has struggled with methamphetamine addiction for many years, and she was, bawling her eyes out in the front row the whole time I'm playing this song, man. So it's special, bro. It's special that I get to connect with people like this, man. And I don't discount the gravity of the responsibility that I have to people, and it's things like that I can still have a laugh and do some, like I've done songs like Top 3 lately, which are just like, it's just a piss take, having fun with bars, but I don't discount how there's a responsibility that I have, and I don't want to fucking put tickets on myself, but I have saved people's lives. And it's like, and it's a very special thing when people tell me this, you've actually changed, or my friend's life or whatever, like fucking,
And that's what you do it for.
Yeah, man, I had, just before I did Lucky Man on Friday night, I gave a guy handed me a note and said, which said, "Hey, Dunners, my brother topped himself last week. Can you please give him a shout out?" So we did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was heavy, bro. Fuck, it was really heavy. And I've got this note and he's standing there at the side of the stage. I'm like, fuck, bro. I gave him a hug and we did a moment's silence for his brother on Friday night. But it's, for me, just a dude that was, I've been in addiction before and been in these struggles. To be able to fucking turn my life around and use my example to help people is it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm very lucky that I get to do that, because not everyone does, man. Not everyone comes out the other side of it.
No.
People die, people go to prison, people cook themselves and they've got mental health issues for the rest of their lives. Where I've been pretty fucking lucky with it, man, that I still get to do this, and I know that as when I get people saying these kind of things to me, it's like I realise that what I'm doing is important, bro. And I still have the occasional haters that pop up on videos going, "You fucking 40, can't give it up." You know what I mean? It's like, fuck you, bro. Like, I know what I fucking stand for, and I know what I've done, bro, and I know where I came from, and it's important, bro. It's important what I'm fucking doing, man.
Yeah. And man, I can see how much it means to you right now. But that's the thing. You want to use your power for good and not evil. And there is a lot of people perpetuating negative shit.
Yeah, man.
So you want to use your stuff to try and push some sort of positive stuff.
Yeah, man. And that's even myself. I get, I can get caught up in, I still can get caught up in my own ego and selfishness and times like that. But I really try to, whenever I can, and I'm self-aware of it, pull myself up on it and bring myself back to earth about what's important, and it's, having my daughter, I always realize that what the most important thing is, that, just trying to be the best version of myself that I can. And it doesn't mean that I have to be perfect, but I try and learn from my mistakes all the time. And every day I try to be that version of myself and fucking show up every day. It doesn't always happen, I still fuck up. I still lose my shit at times, but I'm fucking trying. It's a work in progress, and I feel like I'm doing pretty well at it. But
for sure, man. The thing is with addiction, and look, I'm no counselor or anything, but I talk to a lot of people on this show, and a lot of people are artists, and a lot of people have had different issues with addiction, and so much of it comes back to people not dealing or computing with their trauma that they might have had. And people that get clean, maybe they just haven't done that work to figure out why they were going down that path. Do you sort of agree with that?
To an extent, man, but it's always like, it's weird. I don't consider I had a really good childhood in a way. I mean, my parents split up when I was young, but I don't consider that I had like a traumatic childhood, you know what I mean? I'm from a very loving family, bro. There's certain mistakes I've made over these, but then I've also had conversations with people about things that happened in my childhood. They're like, that's trauma, bro. And I'm like, oh, really? Like, But for myself, man, I don't think I have that, like, I wasn't abused or anything like that, bro. Like, and it's almost like why it's taken me this long to get to a point of even considering going sober is like, I never had that rock bottom moment, bro, of like losing everything because of drugs. I've never put drugs and alcohol over my daughter or my work. I've been a fucking top tier drug taker for most of my life. You know what I mean? I've done this shit for a long fucking time, bro. So that's almost even harder, bro, because you never have that dawning moment of like, fuck, everything's fucked from this shit. Because you can sustain it, bro.
Yeah.
And I have sustained this life for so fucking long, man, that
being a functional
fucking recreational user, you know, I've never been too deep into addiction with it, man, but I've been a functional fucking party head my whole life, you know, from growing up in pubs, man. That's I don't know if it's more difficult or what, but it's like, it's taken me this long, you know, I'm 39 now, bro, that I've finally got to that point of, okay, something's got to give for me to fucking be able to move forward without absolutely just fucking to do this shit for so long, because, you know, I'm fucking, not everyone's good at taking drugs, bro, but like I was very good at taking drugs, bro.
Not to glorify.
Not to glorify at all, but that, you know, like, you know, some people have cooked themselves that fucking came up with. I'm fucking full.
Some people,
myself.
you know, like I see some people, and maybe people that are a bit older that start partying. I'm like, that's a bad idea.
Yeah,
it's not for everybody.
It's not, man. It's not. And it's like, I'm lucky, bro. I know so many people. Like, I've got friends that I gave I gave them their first pill, bro. You know what I mean? And I've seen them get psychosis from fucking doing this shit for a minute amount of time that I did it, bro. You know what I mean? I've never got psychosis off it. I've never fucking... It's a weird thing, but it's like, so... I don't know. I've got to this point now that I'm like, no, I can't sustain this shit forever. Sure. I really can't. And it's kind of like there's a line in the sand that I don't want to have that rock bottom moment, or I just don't want to be feeling like this my whole life, bro. I've finally kind of made that decision of like, something's got to give, man. Something's got to give, because I can't. And that's when you're a father, like going around the country doing shows, partying my fucking ass off, and coming back to my daughter on a fucking Monday, like back to reality, and feeling like a shit cunt. Like I get the dad guilt, something fucking shocking, bro. You know what I mean? Like, and I still show up for my daughter, but it's like, I can't keep doing this, bro. I can't fucking keep doing this, you know?
Man. Even myself, just doing a month of dry July, my son said to me, he goes, Dad, it's really good because you don't have a beer in your hand all the time. And that's from a 6-year-old. I'm like, if he's noticing that, that's making a difference. You try my best to have some water, you know what I mean? Like the kids make you accountable.
Yeah, and even with chuff as well, with weed, like, is such a... Weed is, you know, it's not the worst of addictions by any means, but it's still an addiction. And that's probably the thing I've been the most addicted to my whole life. It hits everyone
differently, man.
You know, my family, marijuana has been a very normalized thing in my family over, like, since a young age, bro. Mm-hmm. That, and I again, a very, very productive, motivated stoner my entire life, bro. So that's why I got away with it for so long, man. But now that I'm off it, man, like even my daughter, I'm so much more. I probably, 6 months ago, bro, I probably wouldn't have had this same conversation with you, bro, because I would have smoked up, like just as we got here, I probably would have blazed a joint coming here. We would have had a different conversation, but I feel like it's and for some people it's a good thing, but moderation it can control your life, man. When you're every day is fucking based around, I need to get home by this time so I can fucking punch a few billies, man. Like, I just feel great, and I could have kept doing that shit for the rest of my fucking life, bro. I thought I would, I've been off the way for it's fucking 3 months today, bro. Literally 3 months today. Oh no, it was a Sunday 3 months ago. It was a fucking Sunday at the start of May. But before that, man, I'm like, bro, I'll be doing this shit to the day I die. You know what I mean? I'll be smoking all day, every day to the day I die. Like,
do you think the work that you're doing with helping people has helped you sort of come to this realization?
I don't know if it was that, man. But I think that now that, pretty much all my clients smoke weed, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm now being able to lead by example. You know what I mean? Like,
if I can do it, you can.
Yeah, like, I'm very upfront with my clients, man. Like, a lot of people in this industry will be like, there's certain things you got to keep to yourself. Where it's like me, it's like, man, these cunts can listen to my music and know who the fuck I am in fucking 5 minutes. So I don't bullshit them. So like from day dot when I gave up with my client, I'm like, bro, I'm giving up weed, man. They're like, fucking for real, bro. Like. And I'm, I hope that, and I think it is rubbing off on him a bit,
It's a funny time for weed though now because it's so acceptable because everyone's doing it and they're like, oh, the doctor said I can do it, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's not. Hey, it's the lesser of, it's the lesser thing in the long run, but it does control your life, man. I didn't realize how much it controlled my mood. Like, not when I'm smoking it, man, but when I'm not smoking it, like how much of a moody cunt I was in the mornings, like after
and people, when they get low on their supply, they get nervous and they get edgy.
And even if I've been able to get it so easily most of my life that it was never that much of an issue. But as again, a very, I've like undiagnosed ADHD. Everyone tells me I got ADHD, but like such a productive stoner that, I'm always constantly on the go, always writing music that I was like, nah, I'm sweet. But now I'm not smoking it, man. Like I'm writing fucking 3 times as much music. I'm better as a dad. I'm better at work. I'm getting more shit done around the house. Like
Was that a gradual thing or did it happen pretty quickly?
Happened pretty, like the first 2 weeks, bro, I felt like I was on speed, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like,
because you were just slowing everything so much down.
Well, from going like being here to just being like, whoa, and it's definitely leveled out, but I still just feel like just my motivation and my productivity.
Did you get withdrawals?
Yeah, man. Yeah, like I got but I think for me, it was like I'd cut down a bit. I had cut down a bit. Like I'd been moving house for about 2 weeks and I was just so fucking flat out that I wasn't really smoking till later at night rather than fucking like an all day, everyday thing. So I think that probably helped in a way. The biggest one is like sleeping's usually an issue, which I don't know. I had some issues with giving it up and fucking sleeping. But it's more just
breaking the habit,
man, of like, okay, I've just fucking put my daughter to bed. Like, what the fuck do I do with myself, bro?
Have
like,
a cup of tea.
Yeah, but it's like, what the fuck do I do with myself, bro? I don't quite know what to. It's the ritual of it, man. Especially with smoking bongs, bro. Like, it's very much a ritual to fucking, like, I can feel it now. You know what I mean? But once you actually get past that, it's a weight off your shoulders in a way.
Have you been in social situations where people are smoking green?
All the time, bro.
And like, it just doesn't.
And this is like in the past. I've given up smokes and weed in the past, but not for more than maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Because I swear that in the past, I'm like, I'll get to that 2 or 3 weeks and I'll just have one, bro. I'll just have one, and then I can't do I can't do recreational with weed, bro. I go from that to fucking, once every 2 weeks to, okay, it's once every 3 days to fucking back smoking again. You know what I mean? But even with this giving up darts, man, I gave up darts. I was fucking chain smoking darts the first week I gave up weed, but then went off the darts as well. But when I gave up the darts, man, I was getting the black market smokes, bro, and I'm just, I think, a forgetful. I swear, the first week I was giving up darts. Every single time I got up in the morning and I put on some hoodie that was in my wardrobe, I'd go, what there's a fucking full pack. There's a full deck there. And in the past, that would have been enough to be like, fuck it, I'll have one. Each time I was just like, I think the first 2 days I found them, I was so like, I fucking like ran them under like water.
Yeah, that's when you know you've got it under control.
Yeah, my mum was like, can't fucking bring them around to me. I'll fucking have them. But like, and even, I still had, the first few weeks, I still had weed in the house. And I don't know, it was something that this time I did different. That I was like, no, I'm not gonna. And even, I had my mate's 40th about a month ago and I did have some drinks and shit, but I was at the pub and around people fucking smoking cigarettes the entire fucking time. And not even a once did it cross my mind to fucking have one. And I'm still, my clients smoke weed, so I've been around them regularly where they're fucking, punching cones in front of me and shit like that. And I'm just like, nah, it's different this time. I don't actually want to. And I'm not going to use some excuse of like, it was around me. That's why I fucking got into it.
But the other thing, and that brings up another sort of point, that you can try and help people, but until they want to do it, until mentally they're ready, they're not going to listen. And you obviously were just ready.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I remember, so my dad was a heavy dart smoker his whole life, bro. Like, I can remember my dad smoking heaps, and so my dad, like in the pub that he had, he was one of the first, I think it might have even been Australia, bro, one of the first pubs to go no smoking inside.
I think Tassie was the first state.
We were, and Dad was the first pub to do it. There was like press conferences for it, and this was like, my dad had fucking, when it happened, he gave up smokes, but he was like, it didn't last. Dad got back on this, but then it was, I can't tell you exactly how long Dad's been off the smokes for now, but it might be like 6, 7 years. But he was telling me, Dad's always like, you got to give him up, mate. And I'm like, yeah, but fucking how? And he's just like, you just do it. You just decide you're going to fucking do it, and you do it. And I didn't get that. I was always like, nah, fucking how the fuck do you just do it? And then it just clicked, man. I just did it. And I just went, nah, fucking cold turkey and fucking did it, bro. Like, which I don't know how exactly you do it, but there's something just clicks in your brain, and you just
got to be ready though.
You got to be ready, man. And fucking 12 months ago, I would have made every excuse in the world, like fucking any other time that I try to give up. But something's just worked this time that fucking, yeah, it is what it is, man.
I'm going to ask you about the Australian hip hop scene. Where do you think it's at the moment, man? Do you like where it's at? Do you like where it's going? Do you think it's in a bit of a...
No, I think it's in a pretty healthy place, man. I think we've got to be careful, man, with the youth, bro. I think there's so much, in Tassie as well, and I'm sure it's very similar all around the country. Youth crime is quite an issue at the moment, man. And young people that are postcode wars and carrying shivs and fucking, I think we've got to be very, very careful with the example that we set, But I think as far as Australian hip hop, man, it's very healthy, bro. It's very healthy. I think, from what I see in Tassie, it's a really healthy grassroots scene. Tassie's always been healthy in the fact that we all, for the most part, everyone kind of supports each other. But even going around the country, I've been doing I did a verse competition for Melbourne for people to get up and rap with me.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And I'm seeing a lot of up and comers. It's fucking dope, man. It's fucking really dope. It's the stuff I see through Breaking Bread and things like that. When I went to Adelaide, when I'm going around the country, I think Australian hip hop, it's in a very healthy place, and it would depend. It depends who you're hanging out with and what you see, but there's many, many dope rappers out there. I just think people got to be careful about, doing, the toxic shit that can come with it, But I think it's in a pretty healthy state, and I think release wise, there's been some really solid releases over the last couple of years, man. Yeah.
As we get close to wrapping things up, do you want to tell us what's on the cards for you 2025, man? More tours, more music? What are you doing?
I'm just about to announce some more. I haven't announced, this is the thing, because I organise everything myself with touring. I don't have a manager. It's just me doing it, bro. So I haven't announced much else. I've got Sunny Coast coming up at the end of this month, but I'm about to announce Brisbane, Sydney, Perth, Adelaide, Darwin again. So that will kind of be the next 6 months.
So you're not going tour. You're sort of going back to Tassie there.
Yeah, and I can't do it. For one, I can't live that life anymore. I want to put on a good show, so my voice needs to hold up to an hour and a half set. I've got my daughter. I've got work. But I have started to work on some new music, which is I can give a bit away, man. Fuck it, so I did anthems last year, which was it was a good mix of songwriting, singing, rapping. I think it was a very good mix of the multifaceted person that I am with my music. Then the end of last year, I did the Undisputed EP, which with the Undisputed EP, I kind of set myself the task of being okay, I don't want to just rely on catchy melodies to get my music across. I want to get because I come from people know me for my melodies, but I come from a battle background, man, bars. So I was I'm just going to do some bars, and I did a 6-track EP, the Undisputed EP, that was just bars. And now I'm coming to the other side of that, man. Whereas I've been working on some new music, which it's not hip hop, bro. It's not hip hop. I've done it 2 or 3 songs for it that. It's songwriting and it's vocals, man, and it's
singing,
full singing, bro. I've done 2 tracks where I brought the drum kit in the studio and I recorded that live drums for it with, is it country, is it blues, but it's I wouldn't call it hip hop, man. So whether that's a full album or whether that's an EP, I'm not exactly sure on yet, but I feel like that will probably be the next release that I do, and then. Maybe another 12 months, maybe another couple of years, I'll actually go back into doing another album that's probably more like anthems, you know what I mean? But I'm just, I'm a chameleon with who I am as a person. I'm a Gemini, bro, you know what I mean? And people say this about me a lot, that many facets to my personality, and I think that translates in my music as well, bro. That like I can go from straight fucking barring out on people to some more, just some melodic fucking heartfelt stripped back shit as well.
And this new stuff is going to be the first stuff that you've ever written from a sober perspective as well.
Yeah, man. And my output has been crazy at the moment. Like, I'm writing some fucking like regular music at the moment. But yeah, Will, I don't try not to overthink it too much. Of like, I just let like this, I don't want to be like, this is what I have to write about, but I just let it. I kind of just let it pour out of me naturally and organically, and usually that translates to, that's a reflection of the life that I have been living. So, yeah, and I also think it's a case of like, I've probably gone on a bit preachy on this podcast, but I don't want to. I'm not too much of a. We've all got to learn it. We've all got to make our own mistakes in a way. You know what I mean? I don't want to be out here going fucking, don't do drugs, because we do have to make our own mistakes. But as I was saying earlier, there's some mistakes you can't come back from, bro. There is some mistakes that you don't get a fucking second take on. So I'll always have the examples I'm trying to set, but this, I'll also. I'm real about life, and I'm real about the person I am. That you got to keep the mongrel in you as well. I've got half of why people love me is I'll always have that intensity and aggression hidden, that's deep inside me as well. That I don't think I'll ever lose completely. So,
man, I love the fact that you have changed the way that you are living, but without A, hitting rock bottom, or B, being totally preachy about it. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get you, man. I fully get you. And
no diss to people that do that, but it seems to happen a bit.
And it's what works for certain people, Like some people need to hit rock bottom, Some people very
need to replace one addiction with another.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And some people,
one's positive,
some people that going that level of preaching with it fucking works, and it helps certain people in that way. But I just feel like I am who I am. My family is who they are as well. That keeps me very fucking grounded. Like my 4 older brothers, my dad, my mum, like they're all very real, beautiful people that fucking speak from the soul. But like, yeah, it's so I just feel like the people I surround myself with and the person that I am it changes and it evolves, but there's still the core values of who I am as a person that will never change. And there's, many parts of me that have evolved over the years, but, as Benny's known me since I was fucking 17, 18, he'll still it's still me, bro. It's still 100% me. It's not been some fucking massive shift of like, who is this cunt now?
Mm-hmm. We've all got to mature.
Yeah, we do, and you've got to do it organically. You know what I mean? And hopefully, without fucking up your life of going to jail or cooking yourself or fucking even worse than that, man.
For sure. Dunners, man, it's been a good chat. I look forward to you coming back in here. Man, whenever you're in Melbourne, I'm going to make sure that we get one of these guys to bring you back again.
Yeah, 100%, bro. It's been an absolute pleasure. Even the drive down today, coming down this way. I was saying, like, I had my nan lived in Frankston. I've got family that lived all over this area.
It's nice and chill, yeah.
I haven't been down this far in the southeast since I was fucking real young, bro. My mum rang me before on the way out. I was like, going out I was like, what are we doing, Rosebud? And she's like, remember you fell in the fucking cactus when you were about 8 at fucking this person? Yeah, bro. But there's memories all down this way that fucking, it was really cool, and been absolute pleasure, man. From 12 years ago, whatever the fuck, the last time that we caught up to, we've both grown up, man, and here we are. So I'm very, very proud of you as well, my bro, and to see what you're doing and
Thanks,
the platform that you've got, it's amazing.
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, someone's got to fucking do it, and you do very well with it, my brother. So.
And I had a lot of Tassie people on here as well, man. There's a lot of Tassie heads coming over here that are doing things.
Hell yeah, man. And definitely some, I'll try and point you in the right direction with a few people you could get on as well, man, because there's a bunch of people that you could get on from Tassie people have got some yarns, bro. It's a good place, bro.
Sure.
It's a good place.
For sure. Before you go, stadium or no stadium?
Oh, fuck me, Dad. Here we go. I'm going to cop flack whichever fucking way I go on this, man. Can I just say this, okay? Whichever way you fucking go on it, you do not have to dedicate your entire personality to it for fucking 2 years, bro. You know what I mean? If it happens, it happens, okay? I'm not going to fucking, if it doesn't, I'm not going to lose sleep over it either way. I think there's positives to it, and I think there's fucking negatives to it as well, man. what side of the fence I sit on, I'm not exactly sure. But you don't have to turn on people that you're friends with or your family with.
Is it that? It's getting that hectic.
Bro, you should see some of the fucking conversations people have on Facebook, man. There's people that have had the, there's the no stadium stickers. There's the yes stadium stickers you put on your cars. Like, people get caught up in it down there, man. Like...
Yeah. I don't think we understand the gravity here.
You don't, man. You don't. But I kind of sit on the fence with it, man, of like, I think there's positives and I think there's negatives. And I think that if it happens... Cool, man. I'm not gonna sit
how
here.
Cool would it be for you to go watch the Pies play in your local
amazing,
city?
man. And my daughter plays footy now. She's a fucking gun, bro. She got like fucking, bro. This season, I think it's something. She got like 12 or 14 goals or some shit. She's
awesome.
Like, to be able for my daughter to have that as a goal, that yes, you could play footy in Tasmania one day. Hell yeah. But at the same time, if it doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world, man. It's okay. Tassie's a beautiful place, bro. And people forget this, man. Tassie's a fucking beautiful place. And the pace of life down there is beautiful. And we were saying this earlier, like growing up in Tassie, you got to get out of the place to appreciate it, man. Mm-hmm. I grew up like Tassie's a fucking hole till I've lived in other places and I get back there, I'm like, no, Tassie's beautiful, man. I fucking love Tassie. I love the people. So, please don't crucify me. Fuck. I feel like my old man's gonna be fucking.
Surely there's got to be a happy medium where they can have the stadium, everyone's sort of happy, but not have it where they want to. There's got to be some sort of compromise.
I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of it, man. Too much but fucking can't we all just get along, people?
It's all just been free.
If it happens, man, fucking sweet. If it doesn't happen, whatever, it's all good. Like, it's all good. Life will go on. Life will go on either fucking way, and it is what it is. I'm probably going to cop some flack over this, though. There'll be someone who'll be like, fucking Dunners.
But I would have copped the flack if I didn't ask you.
Yeah, true. There you go. Yeah.
All right, Dunners, thanks for coming, man. It's been a good chat. I'm going to go upload this episode right now. This is going to go live tonight, hopefully.
Fuck yeah, man. Unreal. Cheers. It's been a pleasure, my bro. Thank you very much.
Thanks to the guys for bringing you down.
Cheers, boys. Cheer.